Hello everyone, it's Dmitry Anoshin, and we continue our Model 3 part of Business Intelligence and Data Analytics roadmap and overall bigger course that including everything you need to know about data analytics and data engineering. Um, and today we'll talk about Tableau Desktop. So Tableau, one of the most popular BI tools, and it consists from two primary products. It's Tableau Desktop and Tableau Server. It also has Tableau Prep, and maybe we'll do a bit of demo of this in another lesson. But now we'll just focus on Tableau Desktop. First, we'll go through the theory of the product, and then we'll do some hands-on. And if you finish already the Model 2 and you work with database, you deploy the Postgres and ingest the Superstore dataset inside the Postgres and created some SQL queries, then we can do the same in Tableau. So idea very simple. In Model 1, we use the Superstore set to create dashboard in spreadsheets. In Model 2, we use the Superstore dataset to load into database and create SQL queries to answer business-specific questions. And finally, in Model 3, we will use the Tableau Desktop, and we will use the same Superstore dataset. And by default, by the way, Superset is default dummy dataset of Tableau. And I like Tableau. I worked a lot in the past, and this is probably my favorite tool among different BI tools. And yeah, we can continue to use Superset. In this case, you will have consistent way of building visualization, answering the business question, always using the same dataset. First, let's look to the books about Tableau. There are many more books available right now. By the way, I'm author of two books about Tableau. Yeah, you can see it's pretty old book, 2019. And another book is Tableau Desktop Certified Associate. By the way, I have certification for Tableau Desktop and Tableau Server. And also my company, Rocket Data, was official partner of Tableau for a couple years in British Columbia. Yeah, I often visited Seattle because Seattle has Tableau headquarters, so it was really great time, but not that very profitable. It's another story. But so this book, I read one of the first about Tableau. It's a great book, and despite the fact that now Tableau has lots of new features, the fundamentals and the baseline still the same. The same what I always trying to teach about data analytics and data engineering, that doesn't matter how many tools available in the market. The most important thing, you need to care about fundamentals, because fundamentals is the same. If you talk about BI tools, the fundamentals is dimensions, measures, semantic model, different types of visualization. And we already learned what type of visualization you have. So, and then if you know one BI tool well, it means you can use pretty any other tool, because more or less they will the same. They will have the same measures and dimensions, some kind of aggregations, you have live connection, you have extract, and so on and so on. So let's continue book. Ryan Slipper has the website and he has book Practical Tableau and his other books. He one of the top experts on the market. Murray, this is the second edition of the book. I don't know, do they have the third? He was part of big consulting company, I think based in US. I forgot is it Seattle or not. And I think they were acquired by someone. But this book is covering Tableau Desktop and Tableau Server. In our book, we also covered Tableau Desktop and Tableau Server, and we also covered Tableau Prep. This one more about visualization. This is again book from Ryan Slipper, and you just need to take couple books. My preference, I always try to learn new tools using the book, because you can take the time to learn and understand the concept. And the same happening with Surfalytics course. I don't want to create for you new course. I actually want to give you the bare minimum of information just to that you can understand, okay, what's the most important things, and then you can take any resource you like to go deeper. But my job is to build a kind of like skeleton for you, and then like there's fundamentals, and then you can use different resources, video tutorials, or books or articles or practice to actually go and build experience. But all what you need to do, you need just build a couple projects and make sure you can highlight this into your resume. Even you can start using this in your work. Okay, let's move forward. So Tableau Desktop is the software, and this is how it looks like, right? You can download it. It's available for Windows and Mac OS. And unfortunately, for example, the Power BI, another very popular tool, only still available on the Windows. So, and this is how it looks like, and we will play a bit of this. So you can connect, you can create connection, and you can start exploring the data. This is what you can download. So it doesn't matter that my screenshot is a bit outdated because it's all the same. You can go to releases website, you can find the version. And I think now that Tableau is releasing every quarter. And it doesn't really matter. What is the matter for you? If your organization using Tableau server, ideally your Tableau desktop should match the version. If you don't using Tableau server, it's fine. You can just get the most recent Tableau desktop and start working with this. By the way, one tip, if you want to get the free license for Tableau for 1 year, the best way is to apply for a student program. If you're not the student, find another student or find another student ID, and you can apply for 1 year. So most of them, and another way, it is Coursera. It has nice, great course on Tableau visualization, communication with Tableau or visualization. They give you 6-month license and you start going through this course. This tab about how we can connect the data. So if you click connect the data, you can see a bunch of different data sources. If you remember model 1 about architecture diagram, you have sources, you have storage, you have business intelligence layer. So business intelligence layer is where Tableau sits, and it can connect pretty any storage. And it could be just flat files, CSV, TXT, or could be simple database like Postgres or distributed systems like Snowflake, BigQuery, and so on and so on. So it has many, many different connectors. The next step, then you show very first step, you connecting Tableau to the data source, right? Then you connect it to the data source. You basically create the data source or semantic layer. And we discussed already what is semantic layer. This is how it looked like back in 2019, but we will see how it looks like in more fresh version. And you can see here, I connected to the Postgres that is installed locally. That's why it's localhost. I have the bunch of tables, and then I can drop them here, for example, my sales fact table, and then I can use the joins. The very similar idea like in the SQL. That's why the SQL is important, because the BI rely on the same join condition between the tables. And you have connection type live and extract. Also, you can add the filters, and this is your data preview, right? That's it, very simple. And this is how it looked like in the version 2020. You can see they slightly change how the visual part works, but all the same, you have your connection, you have your database. If you want to extract a live connection, you can add the filters, you can do data preview. They also have the feature that calls federated queries. Federated queries means that, for example, I have the Postgres and maybe I have CSV file, or maybe I have the Snowflake data warehouse, and I can combine it together in one data source. And Tableau smart enough to query each data separately and then blend it together. And we can quickly cover the joins again if you forgot from the model 2, but this should come from the SQL. And if you're planning to work as a BI developer, you have to know joins, you have to know SQL. So the inner join, it's very simple. If you have 5 rows in left table, right, and 5 rows in the right tables, and you basically will return result set there. And if we talk about IDs, you will result set only records that match. So in our case, we have 3 IDs that exist in both tables, and this is how we return only 3. This is inner join. If we talk about left join, it means we always return all records from the left table. Left usually is like if you write the SQL query, it's the first table, and you will return 5 records from the left table, basically all records from the left table, and only records that available in the right table based on the intersection, right? So, and it means you will have 5 records from the left and only 3 from the right. the rest will be null. The right join is opposite. Everything from the right table and only things that intersect from left, but in the practice, we never do the right join. Very convenient to use only left join and basically swap the table if you need the right. There is also a full outer join for some use cases, but not very helpful for analytics because it might cause the confusing, the wrong metrics. It's hard to predict what it returns, but in some cases might be helpful, especially when you're troubleshooting the data. So it will return all records, right? It's basically intersect completely. And now we will discuss live connection versus extract. So the live connection is very simple. Then you connect, it's like the same, you connect the beaver and run your query. You change the query, you modify the query, you run the query, and the database return your result. And this is how it works the live. The same in Tableau. You build the visualization, for example, you use three dimensions, 2 metrics. You run the query, get result set, and now it is result set cached, and you can, using those 5 columns, to do whatever you want. But as soon as you start changing your conditions, you may make filters, or you want to bring another dimension, drop another metrics, then it will regenerate the query. How it works Tableau? Then, like any other BI tools, the idea that it gives ability for non-technical users to manipulate data in database, right? You don't know SQL, and then you can start drag and dropping things, but actually Tableau will create the VSQL. This VSQL will be converted to SQL, or in some cases it could be MDX for the cube or TQL. But the only thing you care about, simply when you drag and drop in Tableau, under hood is SQL query is generated and submitted to the database. And database returning your results, and basically you have your result. This is live connection. If we talk about extract, what is happening here? All the same, the SQL query is generated, but it will be generated on this. So as soon as we create our data source, we choose our tables. What is happening is basically we will be select all the columns that we have here. By default, it's select star, but we can hide some of the columns to make smaller size of our extract. We can add additional filters. So we will construct our SQL query to our data warehouse only once on this step creation. And then we will run it. This SQL query will be sent, VSQL will create it, convert to SQL, will be sent, and then extract will create and cached with Tableau. And Tableau right now using the Hyper, so it's kind of like also columnar database, and you have like cache data in this columnar database, and you can use it. So it means now you can, all your columns that you choose, you can do drag and drop indefinitely, don't need to update. And very often organizations using extract, for example, you don't want to let 100 users to sending 100 queries all the time, then they modify the dashboard. You can refresh the data once. Maybe you have some data marts and data warehouse, you refresh it once, and then users can basically for free. Free, it means no compute resources spending, no Snowflake credits is burning, you just refresh it once, they can use the dashboard. And this is how it usually works in the big organizations. They have lots of data. But the challenge here, basically for any BI challenge, the size of the data that you return, because you don't want to return like billions and billions of records. Your extract can fail, your live connection can take a long time and also fail with timeout error. So that's why you should be very careful and avoiding the raw level records into your data set, because anyway, in BI, you need some kind of aggregated data. And as soon as you create live connection or extract, you have your dimensions and measures. And it's very simple to separate in Tableau. Everything blue is a dimension, everything green is a measures. And here you can also group by tables, or you can create group by folders, you can create custom folders, and you can change data type of each column. You see this number, this is text, this is date. And Tableau gives you lots of handy function. You can convert the data, just right-click button and you can change whatever you want. You can rename the columns. And also Tableau give you some auto-generated columns. So everything you will see how it works. So what is dimensions and measures? This is probably the most important thing in BI. So this thing you need to understand really well. So dimensions is a qualitative information. It could be year, month, product name, category, something that you need to add the context for your metrics. And the measures is a quantitative data. So it could be counted, ordered, aggregated, it's different KPIs and metrics. And those are examples. So, and this is what I mentioned, right? By default, data source returning you everything grouped by tables, but for better usability, if you think about your end user, how they're going to use it, you can group everything by folder. And then we can move to the next step. Assuming you have your dimensions and measures, now you're ready to build some kind of visualization. Tableau is a bit tricky in terms of how you're going to build your visualization. So this thing you need to practice and use some learning resources, and I will show you example, but it has many different tips and tricks. It might look very simple. You have columns and rows, and you have filters, and you have marks. You can drag and drop your objects, and you can change, like, for example, we have order date, but I convert it to the month, and it could be continuous, it could be discrete, and we can also change the visualization type, and so on and so on. But this is the view. The view is a simple visualization or the simple table. And then from this, we can create the dashboard. So dashboard consists from the views. And for this case, I highlighted each individual section, individual views. So first you create the views, and then you build the dashboards. For many other BI tools, it's exactly the same. If we look to Looker or Apache Superset or Metabase, first you create individual elements, right? Individual elements could be the individual SQL query or individual query to the dataset, and then you can combine all together, and they might have the shared global filters. If you change the filter, all your visualization is connected and updated. Another thing available in Tableau, you can create stories. Right? This is very similar to PowerPoint or Google Slides presentations. If you want to tell the story, you can create the stories. And it is great for the business. So the question is very often to be Tableau or not to be Tableau, like, do you want to actually use Tableau or not? Because, and we will compare this in the way that we're thinking about, okay, do we really want to have proper BI tool for our use case, or we can still rely on Google spreadsheets, on Excel, or even just writing the plain queries. So let's look to the pros and cons for Tableau. So then you implemented Tableau or BI tool, it automates lots of work. It gives you creativity, and also the people who work with BI tools, they're really enjoying this because this is one of the best tools on the market. Less human errors, easily to share insights, and it's very interactive for everyone, even for non-technical people. But in particular for Tableau, the learning curve, especially if you're Tableau developer, might take longer. And especially for the users who spend decades to work with spreadsheets, and I think there are still many people who work in spreadsheets, it will be a really painful process, but this will be for better for sure. They will spend way less time to preparing their data, and they will be way more efficient. And this is my personal story. Back in, I don't know, 2013 maybe, I used to work in Montenegro in the marketing department, where I was assigned to build I kind of like say this was training company, and I was assigned to build a dashboard daily using spreadsheets. So we have a bunch of data sources. I need manually to extract the data, convert it, and update my spreadsheet to send the leadership team. So it wasn't complicated task, but it might take just 30 minutes. But because I do it every day for months, it was exhausted. It was routine, boring job, and I just sometimes it might take like 3 hours just because how it was boring and complicated. What I did, I took my personal Tableau Desktop using the student license, and I recreate the same dashboard in Tableau. It was great learning curve, all the same metrics, and now every day because I didn't have any Tableau server, I wasn't able to automate this properly. I think now maybe with Tableau API, Tableau Python, it could be done better, or even right now, so many different tools and ways how you can use open source or Python, just generate the dashboards you want and create the scripts. That time, I didn't have this experience and I only was aware about Tableau. And I create this Tableau in dashboard. Every morning I come, I click one button, it generates very beautiful visualization, PDFs, and I can send it to leadership team. It was consistent, it was accurate, and it was right. Another example in Amazon, I already talked about weekly business review. What is it? Why it's so important? And I believe even nowadays, many companies still operating with WBRs. And if you're ever gonna apply for Amazon for BI role, 100% you're gonna work with weekly business reviews. And if you have your story ready for you, and you can tell how to build WBR and how to automate this and understand what is it and how this can impact the business, it's a great benefit for you. Definitely you have high chances to get this job. So this example of WBR that was built in spreadsheet, it took almost 1-2 days for every team to prepare their slides, and then another person have to combine this all together. So it was very long and complicated way of building so. And this is what we've built with Tableau. You can see all the typical WBR, also adding some spark lines, and those are details, maybe not that important, but the idea, we moved from manual work to automated. And because we used to have Tableau server, we can just schedule everything and it will automatically generate PDFs and email them every Monday, ready for weekly business review meeting. So it saved tons of time for everyone first, and the second, it's consistent and accurate. The only thing is important to make it sure that data quality is consistent. And this is less for business intelligence data analytics folks, it's more like for data engineering. But if you understand what is it, and we'll learn about this in the model 4, then it also gives you lots of benefits. So a couple other terms related to Tableau. One is data blending. I already mentioned about federated query. Then you can query, for example, Postgres and Snowflake together. Before this feature was available, and this feature not that stable, the traditional way of doing this is basically create two data sources. For example, primary data source and the secondary data source, for example. Very simple example, if you have your data warehouse with your actual numbers, and you have spreadsheet or CSV file or another table maybe with forecast information. And then you can combine it together to see what's your fact to plan ratio. And for this, you're going to use the data blending. So you have two data sources. You will define how you're going to join, maybe date month for the product name or date itself. And then Tableau will smart enough to use two different data sources in the single dashboard. And this is what I mentioned, federated query. Then on the step of creating a data source, you can use data sources, connect different data sources from different sources, and Tableau will do everything for you. Let's look what are key Tableau file types. So there is Tableau workbook, there is Tableau data source, Tableau data extract. So this is the heaviest one because it's cache all the data. There is also Tableau bookmark, Tableau package workbook. This one could be shared with Tableau Reader. So Tableau Reader is a free version of Tableau that might be suitable to check workbooks someone built for you. And Tableau package data source, this is data source that you want to share. Tableau practice. The best way, the same is SQL, the Python, or anything else, you need the practice. And I don't know how they currently doing, but in the past, this was one of the best resources to learn Tableau. This was community, and every week they they're sharing the new data set, and everyone went to build their own Tableau visualization, and then you can look up on the result and see how everyone else is doing, and you can learn from others and see what kind of things they apply, some tips and tricks, basically using the same data set. Another way of doing and learning Tableau, you can go to Tableau Public, and you can download pretty any workbook there. Tableau Public is basically Tableau server, but where you can publish and sharing your work to build your portfolio, but you can download data workbooks of others, see how they build them, and learn from them. About Tableau certification, what I can tell, there are different certifications available. There's specialist, associate, and professional. I'll say for desktop, for the server, and I think this might be also a bit outdated. Doesn't really matter, because all you need to know about certification, it's great to learn vendors, like to go attend Tableau workshops to learn preparing for certification, because you will learn the most up-to-date and the most useful information, but you don't need to pass the exam itself, because no one really cares for exams. And if you really want exams, you can just add in resume exam name, and this will be good enough. No one gonna check did you actually pass it or not. And another way for Tableau to recognize their community, they have Zen masters. In the past, Tableau community was really strong, and I believe this was one of the most, like the best and the strongest community in the world related to the tech company. And I think they one of the first company who actually introduced this vibe that community is very strong, people helping and sharing the knowledge, and then other vendors took this over. But unfortunately, then Salesforce acquired the Tableau, the community just drawing. But they use the Zen Master. Zen Master is a kind of like top people who working with Tableau. And this is example from Tableau Public, right? So I can just find the best, all using the same Superstore dataset, and this is pretty popular. You should be aware about the data. But what you can see here, this is just example of the dashboards and how people visualize. Maybe it's not that helpful for the business, but it looks very nice. And honestly, if I will hire a person with Tableau skills, and the first thing I will look up, do they have Tableau public profile? Because if they don't have Tableau public profile and they want to apply for Tableau job, I think it's not right candidate, first of all. And basically the same applicable for pretty any kind of role, because I will look what kind of portfolio you have. Are you developer? Are you data engineer? Do you have GitHub? Do you have Medium post or any other blogging? And actually go and read and see, is it like bullshit generated by AI, or I actually put some work and effort into this. So now we're ready to go and see actually demo of Tableau Desktop, and then we'll talk about what kind of things you can build as your first Tableau dashboard. Now we can continue and look to actual Tableau Desktop example. So I've opened Tableau Desktop. This is how it looks. We can check what kind of version I have. I have version 2024. This is slightly outdated. So what we have here, we have file. Here we can open different kind of workbooks. Data, we can just copy paste the data, maybe from like CSV file. Server, if we want to download workbook from our server, we first need to sign in to the server. And we can also connect Tableau Public if we have the account to publish our work. And help is a help, and here we can manage the product key. So if you have product key, or you will find the student program and submit for the student license, even if you have like, I don't know, doesn't matter what country of university you have, you still can get the license key. And member of Surfalytics, everyone successfully get one. So what we have, we can connect Tableau server, we can connect different files, and we can connect more. And here more files, and here to the different. You can see how many different databases. So Databricks, Athena, Redshift, Presto, Postgres, Oracle, MySQL, Delta sharing, pretty anything, right? Even more than we know, like even Splunk. I think it should have like Salesforce connection. Yes, Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So, but usually we're using Tableau to connect the data warehouse to build the dashboards. And this is how typical workflow starts. So we want to connect something. In our case, for your homework, I expect that you will have the Postgres database with Superstore data in it. So for this, you can click, you find the Postgres, right? If I click the Postgres, server, it might be server or localhost, our port, database name, password, and user. All the same that we did in the model 2. What I want to do instead, I will use the save data source sample store. So, and we can first edit data source. So this is how it looks like. In our case, we're using the connection for connecting spreadsheet. So it is pre-installed with Tableau. And you can see here we have XLS file, our spreadsheet. Also, you can see what kind of other information it has. It has TDS, Tableau data source file, and Hyper, it's like extract file, because we discussed this already. So we open our spreadsheet, has the 3 tabs in it: orders, people, returns. And we basically can drag and drop it here. It's already here. And then we can define the join. So we join orders and people, operator equal, region. Here we join order ID and order ID. So there are some performance information we have here. It's not that important to specify the cardinality, but if you know, it might help. Okay. And then here we have a data preview. Here we can switch to extract if we want, right? Or we can keep the live. Here we already can start do some kind work with data. We can create new calculated field, right? If you want to do some kind of calculation. We can do create group, we can describe. Another very powerful thing for data preparation is the pivot. So assuming you have cross table somehow, then you can always do the pivot. To do the pivot, I don't know, will it let me or no? Yeah, you can see there is the pivot. And also a bunch of cleaning operations we can do with the data before we actually do. In addition, we can use union, right? You know, union, then you have one table, maybe 10 rows, and you have another table, maybe from like one sales channel, 10 records, another sales channel, 10 records, and you want to produce one big table. They should have the same column names, but union will basically stack your tables, and you will get one new table, the same column, assuming each table has 5 columns, the same 5 columns, right? Then you do the joins, you have 4 columns here, 4 columns, second table, you will get like maybe 8 or 7 columns, right? I did the same. You will just adding the columns. Then you do your union, you kind of like 4 columns here, 4 columns here, and you will still remain the 4 columns, but number of rows will grow. That's the difference, but it's the model 2, the SQL. You have to learn SQL really well. So this is our data source. We can rename it if you want. We can save it. We can add another data source. And then we can jump straight to the sheet. This is our sheet. Currently, it grouped by table. We can group by folder. We can create new folders and group in the way we want. We already can see some objects pre-created. For example, we have this hierarchy. This means hierarchy, right? Postal code, city, state, and they already have the type string, but they have geographic role assigned. It's really good to work with geographic data. In this case, this data type help. We have order data, we have product hierarchy, we have bin. It's already created, right? And you can see Tableau basically gives you lots of different tools to better analyze and explore your data. And this bin size is basically created automatically, but you can modify it. This is set. So, and in this set, they have top customers, right, based on the profit. And those are measures, like the green one. And we have auto-generated latitude and longitude. We have calculated column profit ratio, so we can check what is it. This is how it looks like. Some profit and some sales. So, and pretty all BI tools, they have either built-in syntaxes to create calculation field, or they rely on SQL, like Metabase, Superset, Redash. They just like SQL. Based on the SQL, you can create calculate field. But idea the same. So assuming you want to create very simple dashboard, and we can start, maybe I can start from category. I can drop here category, and maybe I want to see the sales, right? I can quickly swap it in the way I like, and I can order it by. We have marks available here. They give us more leverage on our visualization. And we can also switch different type, because Tableau by default trying to choose the best one, but you can change whatever you like. Maybe I like this one. But if you're using Tableau, never use pie chart. So here I can quickly order it. And maybe what I want to add some number because I'm using some sales. If I will drop sales into label, I have like this, and we also can control it, right? So here I can modify it where it will be in the middle, or where, and I can do here add more additional text and information. Tooltip, this means tooltip, right? So I can modify it, I add the colors, really, really nice. And this is very helpful visualization. So we have color, and maybe if we have different kind of visualization, we can add more things. We can also use dual axis chart, and maybe we can rename it and just category by sale. And this is name of our sheet, and currently it's using the same name as a tab. We can also add the filter. Maybe we can use the order date, and here we have many different ways. I can use relative date, or I can use year, month, whatever I like. So if I will click Option or Alt button, I think I don't need it here right now, but we can use it, then we drop it here. So I will show later. So maybe I can use filter. I want only know last 2 years, right? And also I can click show filter, and here I can add control and filter. And now we're thinking more about end user scenario, how we want to expect the people gonna use it. So here we can choose the way how the people can use it. So we create one quick visualization. We can click and add another one. Maybe now we'll add actual order date, and if I will click it, drop it as is, it will be year. But maybe I click Alt and drop it here. And what I want to do, I want to use continuous data because this is kind of time series, and I will choose the month, and then maybe I will use quantity. And you see, this is how it gonna works for me. This is line chart, because we have continuous data, because I can make it discrete and you can see what will happen. So now it is like just individual values and it's connecting between them. So not big difference. And this thing calls shelf, by the way. So we have it, and we can also adding the labels. So if I will quantity on the labels, and I can control it. I want maybe show only min and max, right? That's how we can do. Another thing we can do, maybe we want to actually see these by category. In this case, or maybe, yeah, let's keep category. If I will add category here, it will create multiple charts. But instead, maybe I want to trying something else. I can drop it to the color. And in this case, you see I will have 3 line charts for each category and see how it monthly performing. And my labels still not for every visualization, but only for the max. And we have another thing that calls scope. So, and the scope, this is where complicated stuff is actually happening in Tableau that will take more time to learn. Because if you want to build simple things like I do, you don't care about the scope, because scope could be table, pane, cell, and line. This is why you need the official trainings or the Tableau books to better understand, and listener should think in you how it works. Because it also have thing that calls table calculations, right? Running total different percent. It's similar concept with the window functions and the SQL, and you understand the window function and the SQL is more advanced topic. But this is what is happening in Tableau. Because in Tableau you can build smart visualization using very simple techniques, but you need to do many steps. Or you can just create a quick visualization using table calculations, and it will do the same result. If you want to add new calculated column, you can always do so. I can create calculate column and do the calculation, but the context always matter. So, and here you can see different available thing. You have like table calculations, right? So you can write it here or can use there. Okay, assuming this is my second visualization, and I can call it monthly quantity. If we want to build some kind geographic data, then I can just click, maybe choose region or maybe state and profit, and choose what I want. You see, I just choose 2 columns, choose the visualization type, and it's kind of like creating. And you see how it put the objects here. And I can also add like into labels, so we can see our profit. And we can change the legend, and you can see the Tableau by default suggests you use like orange blue instead of traditional red green, because red green unfortunately not really work for colorblind people. So what we have, and we can call it state performance. So it's very simple dashboard and very not complicated. So here I have filters only applicable for single view, but I can modify the filter and say apply all using this data source. So now you see I have filter everywhere. So, and now next step, we can create the dashboard. So we can choose the size of the dashboard, depends on, we can even build the for mobile layout. And then we build the dashboard, you actually can leverage the containers. And you can do many different things. And now it has some other extensions and plugins available. So for us, if I will just start drag and drop, I can do simple drag and drop, right? And you can see it's not looks great, not looks nice. So we can add. Oh, now they have the grid. This is something new. Didn't have this before. And usually in Tableau, it's not like pixel perfect dashboard. It's not suitable for this. So you drag and drop elements. You can control each visualization with the feed, and maybe I want to feed entire view, and maybe like whatever I like. And you can move this around. You can do whatever you want. You can also add the title for the dashboard. Yes, show titled. And this already like give you some idea how this thing works. And you already saw some of the complicated things in Tableau. And for a reason, I don't want to go deep in details because I will provide additional information under this overview where you can learn more this in deep. Because to master Tableau, you actually need to spend maybe like go through the trainings. And if you never have worked this before, it actually will take time, maybe a month. And then you need to build a couple very nice visualization. But this is the basics. And if you're able to to connect database, create your data source, decide between live and extract, and then create couple views and combine them in the dashboard, then you actually, this is your story, because the next step after this is publish data source or publish to Tableau profile is a Tableau server, whatever you want. And there are many additional things. There's like, for example, run optimizer. So an optimizer trying to see, okay, what's the best practices for performance-based? And it can suggest what's good, what's bad, and so on and so on. It has some kind of checking things. But yeah, you can definitely look in Tableau Public, one of the best Tableau Dash, because you can change the font, you can change the background image, you can add the hyperlinks. There are like specific techniques that you can use to build the dashboards. And if you learn one tool really well, you can apply pretty same. Because the one cool thing I recently saw, how one of the top Tableau experts, I think Andy Kirk, switched his experience from Tableau to the Power BI, and he was able amazing visualizations and dashboards in Power BI using just his knowledge of Tableau. Of course, he learned a bit how to achieve the same result in Tableau Power BI, but after the learning curve, he can produce the same quality. So the tool doesn't really matter. The matter is like your end goal, and because your end goal always how you should help the business to make the decision. If you remember the model one, they talk about the business value. So you as a data person or developer or engineer thinking about how this will impact the business, right? In our case, this is really bad quality dashboard. But if we give this, for example, the sales team, they can see how the category performs. They can choose the years and they can see what state performs well and so on and so on. There are many different ways. But I think it's a good start for you. In the next lesson, we'll see how the Tableau server works and deploy it. And maybe if we successfully install Tableau server, I will use the cloud, virtual machine in the cloud, and then maybe I will able to publish my Tableau desktop. And then I have extremely well created project for Surfalytics that will teach you what does it mean to be as a BI administrator, and then you can use it as a homework. So by the way, what's homework? You have your Superstore dataset and the Postgres data. You need to connect and build the dashboards. And for inspiration, what you can use, if I go to, okay, if I go here, and we can actually open the Superstore dashboard if I have it. This is a Superstore dashboard from Tableau itself. Oh, it's trying to actually pull it from some kind server that is not available anymore. Yeah, it is here. Yeah, it's opening. So this example of the way better dashboard for the same dataset, you can see some self-control. It have the tiles. It has product overview, you see, right? So again, filters, text, very clean dashboard, a different type of visualization, the customer analysis, right? You can see top customers and different performance by different dimensions, the shipping information, and you have commission model, right? This even let us do input as a text input, and then it will using as a variables in our calculations to do some if-then analysis, order data details. You can see like mostly like row level data, and you can have a bunch of filters, forecast, right? Tableau has built-in the forecasting things. So it is here, I think, somewhere we had the forecast. I was thinking, yeah, you can see forecasting, trend lines. I think it also has clustering. So yeah, ideally, if a Tableau developer, you need to know every button, what does it mean? But this is use simple, I think, probably logistic regression to do some kind of forecasting based on time series. And also it has what if analysis. So you can create some mechanism for your Salesforce to play with this. So that's it about Tableau. See you in the next lesson.